My Gavan and Melonine, and well met indeed. I'm Arach here, Galadirthan, head of the modding team behind Divide and Conquer, and welcome back to Divide and Conquer as we continue on as the High Elves. Now, just one thing to go through. It was my birthday a few days ago, and I finally now have my two monitors mounted on a single unified stand, and it meant that I changed my desk setup so the microphone is now slightly further away from me than it used to be. So the only reason I'm telling you that is because the keyboard will possibly now be a bit louder than it was in the past. Also, you will note that Nvidia has still not fixed the bug, and it is driving me up the wall, but you can't see my mouse cursor. And instead you just get these annoying little flashings when I cross over things, and that really annoys me. And I've been holding off doing developer diaries because it helps to have the mouse for those. And I'm hoping it'll be fixed soon, but we just do not know. We are currently stockpiling forces in Imladris in anticipation of soon moving out and claiming more of the goblins' lands. We have Zagkala already. We're making a reasonable amount of money, 3,000 odd. And, of course, over here, we are about to take Basra. We're waiting for them to rise up, which they absolutely will do. And our goal, as I've already stated, is to drive a wedge down towards Ostinethil as Imladris, and then through into Dunland and meet up with our western wedge, which will be coming down through Enedwaith and meeting somewhere around Alkford or Dunyard, which is this one here. And then from there, we head south and we go for Isengard, which is our overall campaign victory. There's a very real risk our campaign will actually be quite short because we will be able to defeat Isengard relatively quickly. Yeah, but we will see. Time will tell. I also, I'm away in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to Wales, and so I've knocked up a little schedule of recordings to make sure that I don't miss any. And I'm going to, once Dorwinion goes live, which is next week, I'm going to do all 4 episodes that I would normally do on the channel as Dorwinion next week. We must defend these lands. And there'll be a break from the High Elves as I show you all the new sort of area around Dorwinion and how that's all going down. But for now, we must turn our attention to defense of Basradum. For Captain Eogan outnumbers us 3-1. Now, in anticipation of improving my skills at the game, this past weekend, over my birthday weekend, I spent a lot of time playing Total War Warhammer 2. I was playing as Marcus Wolfhart in the Hunt Marshal's expedition in Lustria. And I was having a blast, I have to say. I do really enjoy the cannon and mortar style gameplay. That is awesome. And but one thing that Warhammer has taught me is that outside of Medieval II, I am way outside my comfort zone. Because most of these units I helped create the stats for and set the units up, I know basically every single unit in the game. I know roughly what it's going to do to me, what its skills and its strengths are, and what I should be afeared of. And in Warhammer, I have none of that information, so I am really struggling. But I don't do too badly. I'm succeeding usually. But I'm hoping that it will stand me in good stead for games when I return to playing Medieval 2, having played Warhammer, because when you don't know any of the unit's capabilities, you do have to be a little more thoughtful in what you're actually doing. And I hope to... Well, I do hope, indeed, that some of that difficulty will transfer to this game. Now, this is Zagkala. In later versions of Zagkala, unfortunately it's not in this current version, but in later versions, it actually does have a gate so that the AI is assisted with sallying out. Although it may already, actually. Let's go and have a look. One of the things of Zagkala, and one of the problems with the settlement, is it is quite laggy. As you will note, every now and then it keeps sort of freezing up. But I can't see a gate, so I think it is later versions. See, it freezes every now and then. And the gate surely would be there if there is one. Because there are 2 ways to the town square once you're past that initial step. And there is the town square indeed. It's an interesting battle map, Zagkala, and I'm all for interesting ones. Although they're sort of wigging out already. But, anyway. And also, Leo.civil.uefs, the famous custom settlement creator, he has created a Mythlond battle map. Now, many of you have suggested many times, Galu, why doesn't Divide and Conquer just use the Reforged battle map? Well, unfortunately, the Reforged battle map is designed for humans, and the AI, as far as our testing has been concerned thus far, the AI simply cannot handle the battle map. So it wouldn't work in the game, so we would have to tweak it and twink it. But Leo's map is designed for the AI, and so will work, one hopes, and we will use that. Now, I've just realised that they aren't actually going to sally out, are they? Because, as aforementioned, there is no gate. So they don't sally out because the game is bugged. Oh, and this is Basra. It's not even Zagkala, is it? Of course. Idiot. Now, in the interest of winning, I'm afraid, going to now just simply cut this here and join you all again when the battle concludes. Welcome back. Very disappointing, unfortunately. The battle map, as I say, without gates is broken, which is why RK has added them in future versions. But unfortunately, just not the future version when I started this one. So Basra is busted. Now, unfortunately, it means that when they attack us again in another turn, it's going to do exactly the same thing, and we're going to win by default. So what I am going to do, because I'm not going to attack them, because in the battle map we lose a massive advantage and they gain a huge advantage, and we have no need to attack them. And so on this instance, I'm afraid many of you will disagree and be disappointed, but I am just going to auto-win when they attack us at the end of the next turn. But what should we do with our army over here? I think we should push out already, to be honest, because I think the Gobbos are pretty much out of this, and there's not really much reason not to press on them. So I think we should go for it. We can't really leave him Ladris with a nothingy garrison, but when we do also leave him Ladris, we are going to be paying a lot of money. But it's worth it. I don't like sitting and doing nothing, so we are going to go for them. Do we want to go straight for Moria, or do we want to hit some of the towns on the south? No, let's go straight for Moria. Let's leave something else, but other than just him behind. No, we want as many troops as we can get. Yeah, screw it.
Onward!
We march! For honour's sake, for duty's sake, for glory's sake, we march. We're not doing anything with the buildings over here, are we? No, hopefully saving up for roads, but... Harlon and Forlon are building their roads. Smithon will get some soon. Imladris would be the next thing to build, and that is the Builders' Hall. But then we could get the Builders' Guild House and sit on more turns with no money, or we can start the ball rolling on the roads, because they cost about the same. We're probably about to be attacked in Zagkala, but I think our generals will hold that off. But otherwise, that's really where we are.
Yes, my lord.
You're standing down here in the Hidden Valley. Do we have any missions for you? Take Basra. We're about to do that. You can go and act as a spy. There's Anon and Arod. We can stop off in Anon and Arod as we pass through and take the little place from them. This best not be war you bring me, you stubborn dwarves.
Greetings.
Oh, no.
A word for you.
Yeah, go on then.
Bless you for it. Another proposition for
What about
us,
that?
You clearly
Nice.
have our best.
And then lastly,
Other
how are you feeling about map
reasonable proposal
information?
we
Yes.
This seems a pleasure.
Brilliant.
Sire.
Now, something that may offend or affront many of you, but I doubt it really, but we're going to rename the Nazgûl. This has been a point of discussion recently in the Discord, because with the way that you will play Mordor in the future, the Nazgûl are sent off map and they will be returned to you one by one every 10 turns. This has had wonders on making the Mordor gameplay just a touch harder. It's still easy, but it is now at least not just a simple auto win.
We protect the Elven
Yes,
lands.
it's ours. So the Nazgûl will return to you one by one, and as each one of them returns, you'll get a little pop-up telling you that the Nazgûl has returned. Oh, we got Mithlon nobles for that, and we stupidly just changed our capital. Damn! And they cost so bloody much. How does Mithlond only have one free upkeep? What is this madness, Mithlond? That unit alone costs an absolute arm and a leg, so you might as well go out.
Onward!
It's going to take us ages to get you to be free, so why not go? Also, we just did the auto win, so why did we lose that many troops? It's ridiculous. But we'll leave the Lindar Mariners as they're the... Oh, do we want to stoke war with Enedwaith just yet? I think we should probably wait until the
Scout the area.
elite
We will need
units
that one.
join us. When they
Elves.
are here.
Come on!
We don't get free upkeep
Sire.
here either, so it
Orders
makes
complete.
absolutely no difference, so you might as well move everyone out.
Swiftly! Elves!
Go and build me a tower over there.
We must give up the road.
Oh, we are still making good money though. Basra, I believe, is a rather wealthy province. Yes, Jesus, incredibly wealthy. Much more so than Mithlond. So if we get rid of that, and Basra build us some mines. And then, and then Mithlond, and you can get the second... No, do we want to waste money on a second town hall? I don't think so. Imnadris. Let's give you something. Oh, an armory. Yeah, let's give Imnadris an army. That's
Follow
nice.
me. Scatter them.
Captain Yagaz. We won't auto-resolve because that always ends badly. And I'll fight those. So we're going to rename the Nazgûl, as I say. So as each of the Nazgûl returns to you, you'll get a pop-up message, and it will now explain a little bit of what we have created as backstory for the Nazgûl. The Nazgûl, as many of you will know from Tolkien's writings, we know nothing about them.
Such tidings does victory emerge.
They would have been human beings around about the 1600-ish year of the Second Age. So they wouldn't be older than that, but obviously then they get the rings. They can't get the rings until Sauron has created the rings, so that's how we know from when they must hail. And we're going to just rename them. The current Nazgûl's names, as has been information provided by the beta testers, the current names come from the Middle-earth role-playing project, which I believe is a card game from some time ago. And Lord of the Rings Online also has names for the Nazgûl, but that gives, instead of names, it gives them titles. So each Nazgûl is known as something like the High Sorcerer of Harad, or just things like that. They don't actually have an actual name, only titles. But we can't give them titles because that won't work. So what we are going to do is just rename them, and we're going to give DaC names to the Nazgûl. Right, archers, move yourselves forward. Melee units, come up behind. Cavalry, head yourselves over there. You guys can run. Wrong button. You guys can run. And ×6 it. And then we got the 3 generals coming in on that northern side who will probably win this on their own if we wanted them to. Elrond and his sons are already firing. I didn't check if they had any archers, actually. It's foolish. Looks like they've got javelins, though. Oh, no, that's just a goblin band. Why are they going so...
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Oh, they are attacking us. Mountain Orc Hunters. Ah, that's a unit we do not want to be attacking us. Alright, cavalry. You fellows, hit those Mountain Orc Hunters. That'll do. Archers, just keep shooting whatever you are. Decimate whatever you can. You fellows, feel free to retreat when need be. Keep up that fire. Ah, we are getting shot. Ah, but they've arrived. And you guys, good job. We lost one, but that's not too bad. I tell you what I don't like in Warhammer 2, and apologies if I talk about it a lot, but I played it like all weekend.
Men have slain the enemy general. Without him, his troops will lose their will to fight.
One of the biggest differences from Warhammer and Divide and Conquer is how overpowered we've made our cavalry. And in later editions of Total War games, when you charge your cavalry at a unit thinking, oh, that'll break them, that'll be thousands dead, and then only about 20 die, you think, what is wrong? I charged the cavalry.
Only
now do the thing. And it doesn't. And it's very frustrating. I've been expecting my cavalry to be beasts, slayers of all, and they're just not. They do take a lot of kills on the trasher units. Like they will hit quite nicely there. But generally speaking, they're nowhere near as powerful as they are in DaC, and that is displeasing. We've lost 1%, and we'll keep up the fire. Hopefully,
it's flees the field. Pursue and run them down.
Alright, pause. Stop. Now, pausing as well, I tell you. Pausing is absolutely something that I have started doing an awful lot more since playing Warhammer 2. In these games, I generally don't pause, and as you all know, as you often shout at the screen in raw desperation, I often keep the game at ×6 when I'm conducting maneuvers, which is very foolish. But in Warhammer, I always pause.
We have won here today.
96 kills is the top, and it went to the Calaquendi Lords. Well done, sirs. I must say, though, that the building an empire management of later Total War games, every time I am faced with that, I'm just so disappointed. So disappointed. There are so few building options. You just can't do anything. And that's always a bit disappointing. But one of the biggest things I dislike is the ability to raise settlements. Now, I appreciate that's just me being sort of butthurt and used to the older games. So I'm coming at it from a sort of traditional viewpoint. But gods above, is it annoying when an army slips past your sort of defensive army, makes it to your sort of heartlands, and then just raises a really well-built settlement, and it's just so frustrating. And that's something I've had to contend with. But for the most part, I have been enjoying it.
Please send an emissary to open negotiations, Matt.
To open negotiations.
My lord.
Gobelow's castle. I wonder if they'd trade map info
We
just
shall
like for like.
hear you out, but do not expect. I do not think you would
No, I'm
accept
not
my
paying
position.
you gold. Counter offer. I don't pay you any gold. I will give you my map information, and instead you give me 1,000 gold to help fight my war against you. What do you say? Oh, you fools.
We have no complaints with this plan. That is all.
You just paid me 1,000 gold coins to find out information you already
Yes,
knew.
my lord.
Dear, oh dear. Right, diplomat, head into Dunland because we're going to be incurring their ire
I shall
in time.
continue tomorrow.
And we must be ready for it. And we need to kill this
Was
bugger.
that your best shot?
Peter Jackson has been... I was going to swear then. But it's not really a swear. Anyway, Peter Jackson has been knocking around the towers over here for some time now, and he's got a couple unit of hunters and some Saraline mercs, which aren't all that great, really. But he's definitely reducing the income. 54 gold coins we're losing because he's just standing there. Basra, how much money are you losing to devastation? Ah, currently none, but the Harlond, what about yourselves? 58 in Harlond as well. That's what I mean. We need something to come and deal with these. Have we got a cavalry unit we could use? I tell you who would be good is Kierdan, but he costs a lot of money outside of that settlement, and he gives that settlement a lot of money. Ah, but look, we could train a little army, actually, couldn't we? Lindau Bowmen. And Lindau Guards. Well, just train the lot, sod it. No, actually, don't do that for now. I would really like Mithlon to have a better hall of music, so give it a turn and get that upgraded.
By the light of Elber.
I think we can end the turn there. Yes. Also, something, sorry to go on about it, but I did start playing Mortal Empires first. I was playing as the Empire, I was playing as Karl Franz, and goodness gracious, my computer is now a really, really good computer. It's an absolute beast of a machine. I bought it only a few months ago now, back in the summer, and everything was almost as brand new as I could get it. It cost a lot of money. And yet, Mortal Empires, my turn times take about a minute. It's just ridiculous. I've installed as many mods as I can that supposedly assist with the turn times, but it's just too long. It just takes too long. Ah, Rohan and Mordor have gone to war.
My lord? Not possible.
I tell you what, as we don't want to attack it, Enid White just yet, why don't you come back and deal with Peter Jackson? And then Mithlond will get its increased upcreep and more recruitment slots. You guys are building, so we don't need to worry about you. Zakala is building, and Mladris will be building.
Over here, elves. We will need that.
Oh, Brunost fell. Brunost fell.
Orders completed.
Disappointing.
Your orders. Without question.
Dunland, how goes it? I'll give you map information. You pay me 2,000 gold. You've got reasonable amount of money. You can afford it. That's demanding, apparently.
I must say.
Did I recently ask them for this? I may have done. All right. I'll meet you in the middle. Give me 500 gold coins for it instead.
This isn't going
Nah,
to
they just
this
don't want my
meeting
map
was
information. I wonder if I've given it to them already. Let's go and see what Saruman's up to and offer it
Tomorrow's
to him
journey
instead.
planned out.
See, in this game, the end turns take... It was 20... The little hand was on the 20-second past when I clicked that button. So we're coming up to 10 seconds now. I'm just going to narrate it for you to give you an idea of the difference. So we're closing in toward the end of it now. We're about 15 seconds in now. We are 32 turns in. That doesn't make too much of a difference. We're now on 25 seconds. And it's going to close out just before 30 seconds. So it takes about 28 seconds or so to make the turns tick past.
Yes, my lord.
And
Without question.
In Mortal Empires, it often takes between a minute and a minute and a half. Between a minute and a minute and a half. That is bloody ridiculous.
Have your weapons ready, elves.
That's so long, especially when a lot of, because of the later, well, my knowledge of the later games, of which I have played all, is that of course Medieval 2 is the last one where really roaming captain armies actually are a thing, and almost every game hereafter focuses more. Well, obviously after Shogun, you actually don't have roaming captain armies. Because they did away with it. You need a general to lead every army, don't you? And whereas in Shogun you could still send captains around. And it meant that you could do more with each turn. I mean, I appreciate the minute our turns are going relatively slowly because we're early doors, 30 turns in. We're playing a nation that doesn't have massive amounts of troops or money, so we are a bit slower. But in the later games, because you only, in the early turns, you only really ever have one army. And as I say, the empire management aspect has been massively gutted. So most of your turns, I could go to about turn 40 and my turns still only take about 5 to 10 seconds in the later games. So when your turns are only 5 seconds long, but the end turn is almost a minute long, I very quickly lose interest in playing the game full stop, to be honest, because I'm just spending most of my time watching the turns tick past. And it's just not interesting to me. The turns is the most boring bit. Of course, all you're doing is watching it load. And so I was playing the Mortal Empire one, and I just thought, I'm not playing this. I'm spending most of the time sitting on my phone, reading anything, because I'm basically just watching turns go past. And I think it's a huge flaw. And it's one of those that just, how can they have arranged it or set it up to be like that, and not one person thought, oh, hang on a minute here, guys. These turns are taking a blooming long time, and not everyone has an all-powerful machine. I mean, as I say, my computer is very powerful, and yet for me they take about a minute. I can't imagine what they would take on a lesser machine. It's just mind-blowing. So I stopped playing Mortal Empires and I swapped to the Vortex campaign, but I was playing as Marcus Wolfhart. And then my turns are about 15 to 20 seconds because that campaign is so much smaller. And obviously that is fine. I mean, it's still not preferred really when your turns... When your turn is only 5 seconds, you want the end turn to be 5 seconds, but you can't have everything, can you? So I appreciate that there is a limit. There will always be a loading point. You can't just have no loading whatsoever. I also realise, obviously, I cut off the loading into this one, but the armies that we're faced with here are really, really pathetic. They are basically just 3 sets of snagger units. It's a really meagre army. So I'm not anticipating much in the way of threat, really. Although these ones are going to be coming at us from down here, which is a bit annoying, but we can cut out some of those archers straight away. Pull back, hit them again. Look at that. Just gutting into them. Just absolutely carving into them.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Oh, we lost 2 units. That's disappointing. Here comes this enemy. There is another enemy coming from the other corner, but they're just too far away.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
They do have a general, though. One of the armies actually has an actual general. I think it might be that one over there. Should we go and have a look? Ah, yes, it is. And he's a custom. He must be a factionaire or something like that. But he's going to die, so... keep up any fire that you've currently got undertaken. You guys can now charge into those archers. And you are going to get into position and hit them.
Only half the enemy force remains.
You're going to do what you're told, cavalry. You're going to do what you're told, cavalry.
Slain the enemy. Behold
Jesus.
how our cowardly foe ran.
What was that all about?
It's time to press the attack.
That's ridiculous. Oh, you guys are finished. Cease fire, cease fire, cease fire. Give it a pause. See, against Snagger, you just don't need to worry. They're just so pathetic. We have made changes to the campaign to try and eliminate how many Snagger units the enemy actually trains. But obviously, they're so cheap and so easily recruited that they're always going to be a big part of the Moria roster. Right, you are now free again to fire at will. This is all that's left. As soon as they get in range of the Lindar bowmen, I wish you to rain hell and fury down upon them. The goblins need to learn that they are a stain on the land of Middle-earth, and that their great creator rebelled against all. And for that he should be punished. And in his stead, they should be punished. Why? Rivendell will not fall. Don't you worry about that. Oh, they're going to stand still. That always helps us out quite a lot.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
Nice.
Only half the enemy force remains.
That was an awful charge. Goodness, actually charge into them. Where's the other cavalry unit?
Good tidings.
And the enemy general is dead.
Behold how our cowardly foe runs.
How many have we
It's
got?
time
Oh,
to
we don't
press
need
the
to go
attack.
Success!
Our foe
47
is utterly
elves died
vanquished.
today, and nearly
Let all who remember this day
2,300
remember it as the
gobblers.
day of our most glorious victory.
And taking the top spot with the Dunedain bodyguards, purely by numbers and the fact that they are such good archers. But people will look at that statistic and absolutely think, how is Gil-galad's company not getting as much as Dunedain bodyguards? And I can sort of agree with that. Elrond could perhaps do with being bumped up just a little bit. Unfortunately, with archers, even if they're getting a kill with every shot, if there's only 40 of them, it's still taking, to kill things like the goblins, it's still taking 6 to 7 volleys to bring them down, and that's more than enough time for them to close and engage. And with Elrond, I mean, he's a one-off, isn't he? So I feel like he could be stronger. Anor is a castle, meaning it'll only go to stronghold, but we do get strongholds, and it will change its battle map. But to be honest, I'd be tempted to just massacre the buggers, but no, we'll sack it. We'll sack it on this occasion. I shall show them some mercy. They won't like us, but it's fine.
Elves, for the light!
By the light of Elbereth!
We are ready to assault. Oh no, Calaquendi Lords are trainable. Nobles have got another go to go. 3 turns to that comes. 900 for the mining now, which we can currently afford. We'll definitely get that next then. And when the Basra one comes in, we're snowballing. We will snowball. Zadkala built its armory. The goblins brought reinforcements from somewhere to Brunost. Anything here we can't use. Brawler's Hall, get rid of that. Blacksmith we can. Slave pit we can. Garrison quarters. Warg breeder. We're getting a full-on armourer here now. Got so much money. Goodness gracious me. Zadkala, you have mines, don't you? Oh, but they're rubbish. That's a long time before they actually pay off. And those mines we want to build over there cost 6,000. But we can't build them for 3 turns, so we can focus on something else, like Gildor's Rest. You don't like us very much. And in the minute you have no free upkeep, we can't actually train anything anyway. You have a long time before you can build. But do get a Hall of Song so that when you are ready, you can get something free. Nowhere else is available. Mithlond, how many people have you got? 1,000. I'd be willing to sacrifice so that we can upgrade that and get some free upkeep here. Imlad, just how many elves have you got? 789, not many, dear oh dear. Let's do it. So, no, because you can't type apostrophes, can you? So, first things first, we need to rename that. It's always easier to just call it a single letter when you're cheating. But we're not cheating, we're displacing. So, add population. Mithlond minus, let's go 800. I know that's a lot, but we'll do it. And then add population A. Job done. And then rename A to Gildor's Rest. Oh, God, no. Goodness gracious, no. Capitals, please. Right there, but that'll only take a few more terms. But Mythod will probably lose a fair amount of income now. We should focus on giving it some farming so that it... Or it doesn't really matter, does it? Mines are so much more wealthy than trade. Or give so much more money than trade is a better phrase and terminology. Can you train anything? What's your turn? Goodness, nothing at all. Alright, we'll go with that then. And Imladris, can you get another unit? Yep, get that unit. Get some free upkeep there. How much are your mines? 250. Not too bad. We'll queue it up so it'll be ready. Now, let's get the Builders Guildhouse nice and ready. Mythond, have you got the... Is the Builders Guildhouse the last one? Yes, it is. But no, we want the mining network next. So we'll get there. We're getting there. We're getting there. But for now, that is going to conclude this episode. So I do hope you've enjoyed following along these ramblings. And I hope you're enjoying the campaign as much as I am. Because I am. And I'm really looking forward to Dorwinion. I really am. Dorwinion is one of my favourite factions. It has to be said. I've said it many times. My top 3 favourite factions in order are Dol Amroth Bree and Dorwinion. So I'm really keen. I'm really looking forward to it. And that will be coming to you all next week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday if my schedule sticks, which it should do. But anyway, for now and until we speak again, dear friends, Navarre na den Perimad Melonin, and farewell.